welcome back to my channel, and if you are new here then hello and welcome. My name's Alexis, and during the month of December, to help you with the festive season, I'm going to be posting to this channel every day. So if you love a variety channel like this one and you want to see more videos, then please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And now I'm going to share with you my favourite games, toys and books as a child. As I just mentioned, today I want to share with you my favourite games, books and toys that I loved as a child. I've never seen a video like this one on YouTube, and if you have, then please let me know in the comments below, because I would love to see what other people's favourites were when they were kids. I tend to reminisce at this time of year, especially now I've had children. I tend to always think about the games and toys and books that I received when I was growing up. And I thought it would be nice just to sit down and talk to you about what I have received in the past and why I like these toys so much. So, here is my favourite games, books and toys that I received as a child. So firstly, I thought I'd talk about books. When I was a kid, there was a series growing up called the Nancy Drew books. Nancy Drew was like a teenage detective girl who would solve mysteries that happened around her town and in her school, and I absolutely loved these books. I think I was probably about 7 or 8 when I first started reading them, and I think my mum may have bought me my first one for Christmas, and then I found some in the local library as well, and I really enjoyed these books. And when I was that age, I always remember wanting to be Nancy Drew. I always remember reading one where she went shopping and she bought loads of clothes, and I was like, oh, I want to do that. So yes, Nancy Drew books were some of my favourites, and I think you can still buy them. If I can find them, I'll link them in the description box below. As I said, I love these as a child, and I'm sure there might be more children out there who would love these books as well. And the next book that I remember being read, but I'm not sure if I was given as a present, is The Hobbit. My dad used to read this to me before he would put me to bed at night, and I loved this book, and I loved my dad reading it to me as well. That was probably the best gift, was my dad actually reading it. He would read the voices of Gollum, and he just made it sound so amazing and such a brilliant world to live in, and that was probably the best gift he could have given me. It was a huge adventure for me before I went to bed. So yes, if you have any children who might be interested in The Hobbit, it's definitely a great book, and if you can do the voice of Gollum, that would be even better, mums and dads. And the next present that wasn't given to me, but it was given to my brother, was a Scalextrics. I love this toy. Years later, I found out that my brother had actually been snooping at the back of my dad's wardrobe with his mate from across the road, and he'd found his Christmas presents, and he'd got this Scalextrics out and started playing with it before Christmas. My dad was furious, but anyway, yes, so I love this toy. So basically, a Scalextrics is like a track that you can lay on the floor, and then you get little electric cars that you put on the track and they can whiz round. So it's a bit like being at Formula 1. I thought this toy was brilliant. I just thought it was so good, and I really wanted one, but I wasn't allowed because my dad said it was a boy's toy. So yes, I know that they still sell Scalextrics because I have seen them in Hamley's toy store in London. So if I can find any, I will link them in the description box below. And if you are a parent and your daughter asks for one, please buy her one, because they are just a brilliant toy for boys and girls. I don't think anybody ever bought me these as a child, but I always remember playing cards with my nan. So my nan would have a deck of cards with her, and we would play. At first we started to play Snap, and then my nan got a bit bored of Snap, so she went to her local library and she got out a book of like over 100 card games to play. So we started playing different games with cards, and then eventually we moved on to Cribbage. Her brother had made her cribbage boards. He was a surgeon's tool maker, and he'd made these cribbage boards for her when she was younger, and she'd found them in the attic, and they had little pegs, and we used to move the pegs along. I can't remember how to play cribbage at all now. I remember there was always one for his nose, and that was it. But yes, I thought cribbage was a brilliant game, and I think I thought that because I always used to beat my grandmother at cribbage. I think I was actually quite good at cribbage. cribbage, so that's probably why I loved it so much. But cards are a brilliant present for anybody, I think, and a card game book would be a really good present as well. And if I can find anything like that, I will link it in the description box below for you. And the next game I remember receiving as a child was Hungry Hippos, and I loved it. Hungry Hippos is a really loud game, and I think that's why I loved it so much. And I'm really pleased to say that my son absolutely loves it as well. The first place he played it was at my mum's house on my old board, and my mum said he was enjoying himself so much when he was playing this game. Hungry Hippos can take up to 4 players, and you have 4 hippos on each sort of corner of the game, and they have a lever on their back, and the lever moves the neck and the mouth opens, and they pull balls that you put into the centre of the board game, and the person with the most balls wins. And as you can imagine, when their mouth hits the board, it's really loud. I mean, it bangs, 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 bangs. So don't play this around anybody who has a hangover, because they won't appreciate you very much, I promise you. But yes, it's such a good game for children. I love it, my son loves it, and if I can find one, I will link it in the description box below for you. And now on to toys. And one of the toys I always remember receiving at Christmas was a boggling in a box. So a boggling in a box was like a really ugly face puppet. It was just a head, and it had little arms on it, and they were quite ugly, and you could move the eyes, and the eyes glowed in the dark, and I think the tongue might have as well, and you could put your hand inside and make it move as well. And I remember receiving one of these. My brother upset me quite badly on Christmas Day, I can't remember why, and then he grabbed my boggling in a box and he started moving it across the back of the sofa so I wouldn't go and tell mum and dad that he'd upset me. All of my friends in school had one of these, and I really wanted one for Christmas to try and be in with the in crowd, and I remember bringing it into school, and everybody had gone off them by the time I'd got one, so that was a waste. But yeah, I love my boggling in a box, and if I can find one, I will link it in the description box below for you. And the next toy I remember being bought, I don't think it was for Christmas or a birthday, it was just because, was Snaff from Thundercats. So does anybody remember Woolies? They were a big company in the UK, and they sort of were like, I don't know, Wilkinson's is now. They sort of sell everything. And my nan always used to go in there for material and cotton for her sewing machine. So we would always go in there, and we'd always walk through the toy section, and I wasn't the sort of kid to ever ask for toys, especially from my nan, because my nan was always like, no, you don't need it, like that. So I didn't bother to ask, but we used to walk through there, and I think we must have gone through there about 3 or 4 times, and every time we went through I'd see this Snaff from Thundercats. Thundercats was a huge cartoon in the UK, and I loved it, and I loved the cat, and they'd made it into like a stuffed animal, and I really wanted him, and I used to stand there and I'd look at him and I think, I'm not going to ask. And then one day my nan said, do you want that, Alexis? And I was like, yeah, and she actually bought me this Snaff from Thundercats. It was the best present, and I think it went everywhere with me for a few years. I think I must have been about 4 or 5 at the time, maybe a bit older, and I loved him. I absolutely loved him, and I took him everywhere, I promise you. I probably took him to bed, and I probably even tried to take him to school at one point as well, but I probably didn't get away with that. So yes, I love Snaff, and if I can find anything similar, I will link it in the description box below, and I'll try to link Thundercats in the description box below too. If you have ever watched Thundercats, you will know what I'm talking about. And the next toy that I remember receiving as a child is Care Bears. So I never had a cuddly Care Bear, I don't think. I always had the plastic toys. Care Bears were a cartoon series. I think they were on ITV when I was a kid. They're probably on Disney now, to be honest, and they're basically a story about love and about friendship and about being good friends with people, and every Care Bear has a different symbol. So they had Rainbow Care Bear, I think they had Sunshine Care Bear, and they had a lot more as well. I can't remember the ones I had, but the ones I did have I think I really loved. I I think they used to sit on my desk in my bedroom, and I really liked playing with those toys. Yes, so if I can find any, I will link them in the description box below for you. And then the next present that I remember receiving so fondly is the Fraggle Rock dog, Sprocket. Fraggle Rock was a television programme that was on the BBC. It's a bit like the Muppets. It's by the same company, the Jim Henson Company, I think it is. The same company as the Muppets. And it was basically about these little Fraggles that lived in a cave, and would go and speak to the trash heap, and would go on all sorts of adventures in this cave. And there was a dog that used to sit by a fireplace before you went through to the cave. And his name was Sprocket, and my auntie knew that I loved Fraggle Rock, and she bought me the dog, like a cuddly plush toy, and I loved him. I thought he was brilliant. Again, I think he's one of those toys that I took everywhere. I think I took him to my nan's. I may have even tried to moisturise him at one point. I don't know what I was doing there, but anyway, yes, I used to take him to my nan's at weekends. I'd go to bed with him. He would just go everywhere with me. I love that toy so much, and I really have fond memories of watching the Fraggles with my mum and dad and my brother as well. And the final present that I remember receiving as a kid, that was probably the best present I ever received as a kid as well, was a Cabbage Patch Kid. My dad told me years later that when he'd gone out to buy this Cabbage Patch Kid, he'd left it till the last minute to get one, and they'd nearly sold out. It was the in toy that year, everybody wanted one, and he went to the local toy store and they had one left on the shelf, and he nearly got into a fight with someone over the last one. He managed to get it for me. I'll never forget it. It was a blonde Cabbage Patch Kid. It had short hair. It looked like a girl, I think, but it was really cute and I loved it. I took it everywhere with me. It was like my baby, basically, as a child. So yes, Cabbage Patch Kids were the #1 toy that I absolutely loved as a kid. That was my favourite games, books and toys as a child, and that's it from me. Thank you so much for watching. Please feel free to give me a big thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, and please feel free to leave any comments below. What were your favourite toys as a kid? I would love to know, and please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. See you all soon. Bye.